So luckily RAU'S had a weekend batch and then I joined it in November. Along with it, sir, I also watched your video for political science. Sir, I have followed the budget and economic survey series, which Baswa sir takes, DNS videos,
Okay.
which perhaps is a very quality content.
Hello everyone. So we have Abhimanyu Malik with us. He has scored rank 60 this year in UPSC, and he was a weekend batch student. So let's Abhimanyu, many congratulations to you
sir.
for your rank. And I guess this was your 6th attempt.
Yes, sir.
So hats off to your perseverance. And so let's have a casual discussion. Just want you to share your experience with the upcoming aspirants. So I guess you started your preparation way back in 2011.
Yes, sir.
And as a weekend batch student.
Yes, sir.
So when you tell us how much the role of guidance is in UPSC preparation.
Yes, sir, that's true that I started off quite early. I mean, I was just new to the college. Then I decided that, okay, I'll be writing the civil services examination. And more so back in those days, the kind of, guidance was very limited. So at that time, you require a mentorship support because the exam is so diverse, the kind of syllabus it has. So it's an ocean and you can actually drown in it.
Yes.
If you don't have proper guidance with you. So that time I decided to join, and that point of a time there were very few options. So luckily RAU'S had a weekend batch and then I joined it in November. So guidance, yes, initially required, but it's also up to the student, I believe, that the level of guidance that he requires. Some people just by looking the proper strategy can have it, but then there are many such people who may just get like here and there and reach nowhere. So they may be requiring some kind of mentorship support.
So one thing what you are saying is that guidance do play its role.
Yes.
It can shorten your journey. It can reduce your hard work. And but yes, if someone wants to do it on its own through self-study, so from where the person should start if person thinks that I want to do it on my own?
Sir, I believe that nowadays, unfortunately, during the early 2010s, so we had a 2G net and there were no topper strategies available. There were no topper answer copies available.
I remember my days.
Yes, sir. So there was a dearth of knowledge. But luckily, in the present day scenario, we have so much of brilliant material available all the way. So any good topper strategy one can pick because most of the basic books are the same.
Okay.
So one can start off by looking at some strategy. Okay, this was their strategy. So maybe look at 3-4 such things and derive a common denominator. Okay, these are the common things in all the toppers or what they are doing.
Okay.
So after that, just skim through that thing and start working on it. Like prepare a plan maybe for 6 months, 9 months. And all the basic things along with the current affairs, and then you are in the game.
But don't you think if during our days lack of material was the challenge, there is information overload these days and students might get confused seeing so much material online? Don't you think they need a kind of guidance and mentorship to prepare this exam?
Sir, absolutely. That's the second part of the story, that we are having a kind of infodemic. So students should only absorb that much of content which is the bare minimum. I would say one should not, like, for one particular topic he's watching 5 different videos and 5 different PDFs he's reading. I think that is avoidable. Ultimately, what any person requires is good short material, short notes kind of, and comprehensive short notes for every topic that can possibly come in the exam. So in that case, it's a personal choice. Again, I say, maybe some people would require a mentorship support It's absolutely fine. If that makes their life easy,
Okay.
go for it. Don't stake your chances just कि मैं 3-4 attempt दूंगा, self study करूंगा, and ultimate end up failing. And then there are people who can make it with self study in the first attempt itself. They actually do not require that. So it's person to person. One should need to gauge one's level of confidence and preparation.
So when as you were a weekend batch student, after that, which other courses of RAU'S has helped you to score well in your mains exam?
Sir, I have followed the budget and economic survey series, which Baswa sir takes.
Okay.
And sometimes I also used to skim through the DNS videos, which perhaps is a very quality content, I can say. So I think both these things have helped me, in fine tuning. I mean, if I don't have a particular, say, content for something. So I believe that these are the things which is so comprehensive that I don't need to then follow anything else for at least particular topics that I need to look for. So that I would say has a lot of quality in it.
Okay. And this was your 6th attempt?
Yes, sir.
Abhimanyu, how you was able to keep your motivation alive for these many years? I think many students wants to know this, that despite you were selected last year also, you were in reserve list and your training is already you are under training.
Yes, sir.
And what kept you motivated that you felt that still you can score better and you were able to continue for these many years?
So first I would like to say that I had been extremely blessed and fortunate that despite that I took my first attempt in 2014 and now it's 2024.
Yeah, it has been a decade.
It has been a decade, but this has been the most exciting decade for me. I was, after a couple of failures of mains, obviously I was dejected, but I did not lose out upon my self-confidence. I did not start doubting myself back then. That was the first most important thing, because in the 2 attempts, like first attempt, just with a good score in PSIR, I could have then made it to the IPS or the IAS even back in 2014, because I had very good scores in essay and ethics and everything worked for me. In 2015, I studied more of it, more tests and everything I did more. And I failed even more miserably in the mains. So one thing, yes sir. So one thing I came to realize that then there are n number of ways to fail in this examination.
Okay.
But there is only one way to succeed.
Okay.
So this is not an examination which is a test of your knowledge or your wisdom or your personality. This cannot be the thing. So along with preparing for my 3rd attempt, I also realized it's very important that I should not stake my life on the outcomes of this examination. So I started looking for options, and one of the other good services which also is similar in terms of preparation and also in terms of ultimate serving, similar. So it was NABARD. So I came across NABARD exam and luckily I qualified, and directly I qualified as a grade B manager back then.
After how many attempts you felt that now it's time to start thinking about plan B also?
Sir, it was after 2nd attempt.
2nd attempt.
And then it was like I would make the 3rd attempt, but simultaneously I would also be looking for my options. So 3 attempts I will give to myself.
Okay.
But after 2nd attempt, I had a serious thought about it.
Okay. Did board ask you this question that you are preparing from these many years? Why you are still preparing for this? They ask any question regarding this, that you started way back, still you are continuously writing your exams, because recently a senior bureaucrat has said that youth is wasting the talent in UPSC by preparing for these many years. Did they ask something like this in the board?
Sir, they did ask, but for me, they had a very different question. Because my profile reflected that I'm already an assistant general manager in NABARD, which happens to be a very prestigious service, and I was at a mid-management level position also. So that way, the question was, why you want to leave such a prestigious service to join at this juncture? So for me, the question was a bit rephrased, and it was even more difficult to answer, honestly. So
how you did the justice to this question?
Sir, I believe I was being very honest in this regard because
Okay.
I have served in the field for 5 years. I have a lot of field exposure, worked in 9 districts, lot of committees with district administration, lot of field work, farmers, SHG and all. So, what I have realized over these years that what I'm doing in one particular field and working closely with the district administration, seeing their work day in and day out, I can do this in 100 different fields with upscaling the grade and scale of my work. So the motivation was first it was just clearing the examination. I didn't know about what exactly you do. I mean,
Exactly.
or everybody knows that there's a collector, there's a SP, but that is it. But now I've seen them very closely and the kind of impact that they can create. So the motivation was at a very practical level after that. And it was also at a very, I would not say that it was a do or die thing for me. The second phase of my journey that began in 2022, that was, I would say, it was more beautiful because I was at a good senior position at one place, and the other place I was a normal student competing with other people. So I think
So you were able to convince to the board that you have a right motivation to aspire for being an IAS officer.
I believe I did, sir.
Even I feel the same. So this comes to. So just now I want to ask you the last question, as you have a PSIR as an optional.
Yes, sir.
And there's a thing about PSIR that if paper 1 is a bit static and paper 2 is a bit more dynamic, and you, I guess, you have written all your mains from PSIR from PSIR optional.
Yes, sir.
So how you worked for your paper 2? Any particular strategy to score well in paper 2?
Sir, you absolutely mentioned it right that it is very dynamic in nature. And now the questions are not that straightforward also, like they'll just ask those cliche questions that which they used to ask 10 years back. So now, obviously, apart from regular reading of the newspaper, one should be able to, like if there is an India-Iran thing or if there is an India-Africa thing, so one should try to put in, say, in 3 to 4 pages, all the different aspects related to the relationship, like what are the major contours of it, the strategic one, the economic one. One should have at least 1 to 2 good introductions for the relationship. One should have different viewpoints of different scholars. One should be having quotations from books.
Yes.
So summaries. I would not suggest anyone to read any book on particular thing, but at least the crux of the book. So that should be there in that 3 to 4 pages, all the contours along with the latest developments, even the factual ones, like what is the level of trade, what are the level of line of credits that we are extending, or what are the initiatives like iTech or all these things that we are doing.
So when you just, if student will focus 1 or 2 good newspapers, is it, so will they able to prepare the dynamic aspects of paper 2 just by focusing and following 2 good newspapers for PSIR?
Sir, I would say that it may or may not suffice. Like if one really keeps tab of everything, like day in and day out, like all the world news, and then so maybe by careful reading of it, making notes of it, one can. But then, sir, I believe that it is not very easy, because maybe for certain relationships one may not get that kind of a content.
Okay.
So for that, one needs to add dimensions to things.
What could be the source for that?
So there can be varied sources for that. I mean, he may join some kind of say crash course, or maybe a full-time program, because optional is not something that one can just do in a generalistic manner, because there's a proper way of writing an optional subject.
Okay.
So one can do that thing like in 3 to 4 months, if a good optional coaching program is there, one can join it. But that would also not suffice in the end. You have to keep on updating yourself with the things, keep on adding new things to it, and make your thing more comprehensive.
So when you also attended the interview guidance program at RAU'S?
Yes.
So if you like, you can share your experience at RAU'S with the interview guidance program.
So I had a good experience with as part of the interview guidance program. I took mocks both in 2023 and 2022. Along with it, sir, I also watched your video for political science. and also prominently I also watched Baswa sir's IGB, where he in a very nutshell, all the aspects related to economy he just summed up in just 2.5 hours. So I think that was quite helpful in fine tuning my preparation.
I'm interrupting you here. When you already have given interview last year. I guess it was not your first interview.
Yes, sir.
You have already given 2 interviews before
Yes, sir.
this. Why you felt the need to come for the mocks again?
Sir, I believe that interview is a very dicey thing, and you cannot always be prepared for it. Just that you got, I got very good marks last year in the interview, but still I felt that it may go either way. I mean, there may be grilling situations that day. You may not be having a very good sleep. You are nervous to the core. You may be speaking very good at home, and even at mocks also you may be good, but always remember that you will be just 30 to 40% of what you actually are. So you need to prepare yourself for that situation, even the worst of it, even the most grilling of situations.
So mocks really help you in all these aspects?
I do believe, sir, mocks help in these aspects.
Okay. Okay. Done, Abhimanyu. Thanks for these words, and I hope this discussion will help the upcoming aspirants, and wishing you best of luck once again, and best of luck for your all future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.